We are floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show, where we're floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you two badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show, everybody. My name is Commander Drew Brown. My wingman, my friend, the guy who always watches my six, is my main man, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, Brother Paul?
Hello, Commander Drew, Lord Commander Drew. It's Lord Commander Drew from now on. How are you? I'm doing pretty well. Good to see you. You look very colorful today. A lot of action going on.
A lot of action. And I want to talk about first, we want to do a quote of the day, but I got this from our friend Keith Miller on his Facebook page. And Keith just retired from our company, FedEx, for over 30 years of service. Keith Miller is one of our friends. I'm even going to put up a picture of the three of us when we took a 777 to Paris for a 4-day weekend. That was the American dream. But I want to read the quote that was on his page. Be easy to deal with. One of the simplest ways to get ahead in life is to be that person who's easy to deal with. Be pleasant to work with. Treat everyone with respect. Don't argue, whine, complain, or gossip. Smile more. Give out genuine compliments. Hold the door for that stranger. Help that old lady carry her groceries. Be polite to drivers. Make people's lives just a little bit easier, and watch how much better life will treat you. How about that, Paul?
I like that. Those are wise words. I can hear him saying that. And the lesson there is, to me, don't be a jerk. There's no upside to doing that, even though it looks like a popular thing to do, or maybe your favorite entertainment people do that. Don't do that. Be a decent person. That's not weakness. That's actually maybe a sign of strength, but something even more important than strength. It's just decency.
That's very true. And the Wingman Show promote this. The answer to world peace is just to be nice. Be nice to somebody. You'd be surprised how much better life is. All right, let's talk about our show today, and that's Die with Zero. Dr. Paul, I'm going to get on you right now. When you first got in the Navy, you bought a Porsche, and I think you still have that Porsche. But you need a brand spanking new Porsche. You've worked your ass off your whole life. Dr. Paul, it's time after all those years of working that you reap the rewards, you reap those benefits, that you actually take advantage of it. So, Paul, if I die with a fat bank account, I want it listed as a clerical error. You see, that money was supposed to become sunsets, bad decisions, and stories my grandkids aren't allowed to repeat.
Mm. Or is it supposed to become dignity in old age? You can't pay a hospital bill with that. One amazing sunset in Santori, what, Santorini, Greece? Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called, but that's true. But you also can't hug your brokerage account. At some point, numbers just sit there quietly judging you for not turning them into life, Doc.
Well, numbers don't judge. What they do compound. Now, last time I checked, that's kind of the whole point, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Doc. Compound interest is great until you realize you've been compounding caution instead of joy. You've built the beautiful fortress and you forgot to live in it.
Well, it's easy to say until uncertainty shows up. What if you live longer than expected? What if costs explode? Kind of gone up lately. You know, Prudence isn't fear, it's respect, really.
Well, Dr. Paul, hoarding time for a future you may not reach. Is that respect or is that just well dressed denial? You're acting like life is a dress rehearsal, Dr. Paul.
Well, I'm acting like life is unpredictable. There's wisdom in preparing for the worst.
Sure there is. But there's also tragedy in preparing so well that you never actually arrive. You keep saving for someday, and guess what? Someday quietly expires, Paul.
Okay, well, you're framing discipline as avoidance.
No, I'm framing imbalance as a loss. Look, money has seasons, just like life. There's a window where you can climb mountains, chase your kids, fall in love with places. You miss that window, and no amount of money you save will ever reopen it, Doc.
Yeah, well, and if you spend too much in that window, what happens?
Well, then you just adjust. But if you spend too little, you don't get a second shot at being 35 with healthy knees and curious friends, Dr. Paul.
Well, Lord Drew, you make it sound like saving is stealing from yourself.
Not saving. Paul, oversaving. There's a difference. One protects your life, the other replaces it.
Hmm. Oh, so what? Your aim is to hit zero with your last breath?
That's very optimistic. Not perfectly zero, intentionally close, though. Close enough that my life, not my leftovers, was the main event.
Okay, well, what's your risk?
Well, the risk is you end up with too much living instead of too much money. I can live with that, Dr. Paul.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this. If I guaranteed you died tomorrow, what would you regret more? The money you didn't save or the life you didn't spend?
Well, I don't know. That's not a fair question because you could answer it either way.
But it's the only fair one because deep down you know the answer. You've been insuring against being old your whole life while quietly underinvesting in being alive, Dr. P.
Okay. Well, I still think you're underestimating uncertainty a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you're overestimating how much money actually gives you. It can buy comfort. It cannot buy timing, though.
Mhm. So you're saying the goal isn't to die rich?
The goal is to die used up, worn out in the best way, stories spent, love spent, time spent. Money just helps you do that on purpose, Dr. P.
Yeah, Commander Drew. Well, I suppose a slightly smaller portfolio with a fuller life isn't exactly a loss.
Well, now you're compounding that right thing. Are you going to get that brand new Porsche, Dr. P?
I know brand new. I didn't have it from I didn't have it from the Navy. I didn't have a car in the Navy. I got my car 2 weeks after I got commissioned. That's my first car.
Oh, okay. Was it
Yeah.
a Porsche?
No, it was a, '75 Chevy, Impala.
Well, when did you get your Porsche?
It's when I got hired by FedEx a few months into that.
So you have a Porsche 33 years old, and it's time for a new one, Dr. P.
Yeah, it's actually 40 years old.
All right. Hey, Wingman, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you did something completely by yourself? Not because you had to, but because you chose to. Maybe you've wanted to try a new restaurant, take a trip, see a movie, or go to a concert, or even spend a day at the beach. But then you thought, nah, I'll wait until somebody can go with me. Wingman, here's the truth. If you're waiting for somebody else before you start living your life, you might be waiting a very long time.
Mhm. And the science backs that up, Commander Drew. Researchers have found there's a huge difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is feeling disconnected when you want connection, but solitude is choosing to spend time alone. When people intentionally choose solitude, the studies show it can improve your well being, boost your creativity, increase your self awareness, reduce stress, and help recharge your emotional batteries. In other words, being alone isn't always a problem. Sometimes it's exactly what we really need.
That's very true, Doc. And I just need to tell everybody out there that Dr. Paul and Commander Drew are both only children. And so we were raised actually learning how to play with ourselves and be okay with just being with ourselves. But Doc, as a Navy pilot, there were plenty of times when I was alone in that cockpit. At first, that can feel very uncomfortable, but eventually you learn something really important. Your own company isn't a punishment, it's a superpower. Some of the best decisions I've ever made, some of my biggest breakthroughs, and some of my clearest thinking happened when nobody else was around. There was no noise, there was no distractions, it was just me and my thoughts. And let me give you a little tough love gouge. If you can't sit down and have lunch with yourself, take a walk with yourself, travel with yourself, or spend a quiet afternoon with yourself, then you've got some work to do. Because at the end of the day, You're the one person who's going to be with you every minute of your life. Friends come and go, kids grow up, careers end, circumstances change, but you're always stuck with you,
Mm.
aren't you, Paul?
Yeah, Commander Drew, and that's why learning to enjoy your own company is such an important skill. You don't have to start with a 2-week solo trip to Bali, Indonesia. Just start small. Take a walk in a new neighborhood. Go to a park, get some coffee or tea, bring a book, read the book, try a hobby you've always wanted to explore, go to a movie, go to lunch. Eventually, maybe, take that trip you always wanted to take. The goal isn't isolation. The goal is becoming comfortable enough with yourself so that you're not waiting on someone else's schedule to start growing your life.
That's it right there, Doc. Because confidence isn't walking into a crowded room and needing everybody to like you. Actually, confidence is being perfectly comfortable walking into that room alone. Okay, Wingman, here's today's gouge. Don't put your life on hold waiting for a travel partner, a dinner partner, workout partner, or an adventure partner. If nobody can go, go anyway. Learn what excites you. Learn what calms you. Learn what makes you laugh. Learn what gives your life meaning. Become your own best friend because the strongest people I know aren't the ones surrounded by a crowd. And actually, in the 11 Facts of Life, it does say that. Become your own best friend. See, the people in the crowd, they're the ones who learned to enjoy their own company and then chose to share their lives with others. Be your own best friend first. Everybody else comes second. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And yes, this is the good news portion of our show. And you know, we love to bring good news because it seems like good news is not around us all the time, but yet people are doing good things. All right, Dr. Paul, this is one of those stories that just hits right. There's a restaurant outside Louisville called Noah's Kitchen. And on the surface, it looks like a great spot for elevated comfort food. But what they're really serving is purpose. Did you know they donate 100% of their profits to charity? And in just 1 year, they've already given away over $100,000.
Well, that's remarkable, Commander Drew, because most businesses talk about giving back, but this one is actually built entirely around it. We're not talking about a small percentage. They cover their expenses, and everything beyond that goes straight to nonprofits. That turns every single customer into a participant in something meaningful, not just a transaction, Commander Drew.
Well, Dr. Paul, that's exactly right. And guess what? The owner, his name is Adam Upsprung. And he said that this all started with a moment in church when he felt called to do more than just run a restaurant. Now, that vision is translating into real impact. Organizations like Hope Rescued, grief support groups, and children's services are all benefiting in that tangible way. That's not symbolic generosity. That's boots on the ground change, Dr. Paul.
Yeah, and there's a deeper layer here that I think people need to hear. Adam said when he stopped holding tightly to his money, sounds like me, and started giving it away, it brought him more peace and fulfillment than he ever expected. So that flips the script on how most people think about success and security, Commander.
You're right, Dr. Paul. And I will tell you, the more you give, the more you get. It is just a true statement. And it's a powerful reminder that purpose scales just like profit does, maybe even more. And what I love is that this model invites the whole community in. You see, every meal becomes part of a larger mission. You're not just feeding yourself, you're helping lift someone else up.
Well, I agree, Commander Drew. If more businesses leaned into that mindset, even in small ways, that ripple effect would be enormous. So this proves you don't have to choose between running a successful operation and making a real difference. You can do both and you can do it well.
Well, Dr. Paul, that's the takeaway right there. When you stop asking, what can I gain, and start asking, who can I help, everything changes, including you. The more you give, the more you get. right, everybody, Jet Jolt time, and you know we're two badass jet pilots. And if you'd like to see us, just watch us on YouTube. All the people listening to us on Apple Podcasts, just turn on the YouTube and you can see Commander Drew and Dr. Paul. So this is our Jet Jolt because I told you we're badass jet pilots flying through thunderstorms and lightning. All right, you're cruising at 35,000 feet, seatbelt light is on, and you see lightning dancing in the clouds outside your window. Your brain says, if that hits us, it's over. But here's the shocker: airliners get hit by lightning all the time, and almost nobody even notices. You know that, don't you, Dr. Paul?
Yeah, sure do. Experienced it a number of times, but that's exactly right. Modern jets are basically flying Faraday cages. That's a metal shell that lets electricity flow around you instead of through you. So when the lightning strikes, that energy rides along the outside of the airplane skin and exits the tail or the wingtips instead of going into the cabin. So you're safe.
That's true. And engineers just don't hope that that works. They proved it. Airplanes are tested with artificial lightning strikes, and critical systems are shielded, duplicated, and backed up. Actually, the fuel tanks, the avionics, and the controls, everything is designed to shrug off that hit and keep flying like nothing ever happened, Doc.
Yeah. So what feels like what may be a worst case scenario to a passenger is actually pretty routine to the airplane. Pilots are trained to avoid storms. The systems are built to withstand storms, and lightning is just one more thing the jet is really ready for.
So the next time you see lightning out that tiny little window, remember this: the airplane isn't afraid of the storm because it was built for the storm, and you're riding inside the safest place in the sky. You're riding with Commander Drew and Dr. Paul, the Wingman Show. All right, everybody, thank you very much for watching us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you, everybody who listens to us on Apple Podcasts. That is a great way to listen to The Wingman Show. And we really appreciate all your letters. We appreciate all your subscriptions and your comments. Now, we have a website, and that website is wingmanshow.com. That's WINGMENSHOW.com. And on our website, we have a newsletter. And this week's newsletter is a good one: how to better understand the weather, or Weather for Dummies. But also on that website, we have our frequent flow line. And that's where you guys out there get to ask Commander Drew, Dr. Paul, and Ace, our chat GPT wingman, any question you'd like. Hey, Ace, it's time for our frequent flow line letter. And we love letters from our audience. So, Ace, Dr. Paul, we got a message from a 14-year-old in Houston, Texas. And Ace, I want to hear what you think about this. See, Emilio, he says he loves aviation, but says the weather scares him. He feels like storms are getting worse every year and wants to know if pilots really learn this stuff and what we think about the future of bad weather. Well, Emilio, that question tells me you're already thinking like a pilot. What do you think, Ace?
Emilio's got the right instincts for sure. Honestly, pilots are trained inside out for weather. It's not just a side note, it's a core skill. We study everything from thunderstorms to icing, and technology keeps evolving to help us manage it. Sure, storms might feel more intense, but that's exactly why modern training emphasizes weather awareness and sound judgment. The future of bad weather: we adapt, we innovate, and we keep safety first. Tell Emilio, respect the weather, learn from it, and never let fear ground you. That's pilot mindset right there.
That's a great answer, Ace. Thank you so much for that. All right, Dr. Paul, what do you think?
Well, I say, yeah, Emilio, yes, we absolutely had to learn about weather in pilot training. It wasn't optional, it was core curriculum. It was right alongside aerodynamics and navigation, just something you had to do. You study how storms form, how the radar works, look at forecasts, and most importantly, how to make smart choices like diverting, delaying, or staying on the ground when conditions weren't safe. Looked at thunderstorms, icing, wind shear. Those were all treated as serious threats. and we're trained to respect them, not try to muscle through. Right, Commander Drew?
That's 100% right, Dr. Paul. Now, Emilio, you're not crazy for feeling like the weather's gotten rougher. Not at all. Because around the world, you see that we are talking about intense storms and extreme events as the climate changes. But here's the part most people don't see. The tools we use to understand that weather and avoid that bad weather are getting better every year. We have onboard radar, satellite data, real time updates, and smarter forecasting all feed into the cockpit. So, yeah, we plan for stronger systems, but we also fly with more information and better technology than ever before, don't we, Paul?
Yeah, Commander Drew. So, Emilio, the future of bad weather in aviation isn't about fear. It's about preparation and adaptation. You got airlines, regulators, and engineers. They're already planning for more volatile conditions by improving procedures, changing them when they need to, changing the training, and really just the infrastructure of aviation so flights can stay safe and reliable, even when the atmosphere gets more energetic and a little crazier. So that means your generation will fly with aircraft and systems designed specifically with this new weather reality in mind.
Well, Emilio, don't let the storms talk you out of your dreams, please. Let them shape you into the kind of pilot who knows when to go, when to wait, and when to walk away. You see, airplanes are built for the sky, pilots are trained for the sky, but the truly great pilots are the ones who respect the sky. And that mindset is already inside you.
This is a Wingman PSA. In the sky, your partner has your back. Now, let's get to it.
Climbing in now, systems green.
Now it's time for a Wingman PSA. Under the 11 facts in life, under fact number 6, where good will overcome evil, is lust. Lust is sex without love. Lust, sex without love. You know, Dr. Paul, when I spoke to kids, I always told them that a roach can have sex, but it takes a real man to be a father. And I really meant that. You have to be real careful with that because sex brings about life. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's easy to do an act. It's harder to stay for the long term and do all the things that parenthood, adulthood requires. That's a long commitment. That's a lifetime commitment, actually, in my opinion. So yeah, you know, think, think with your head. Don't just let your emotions put you in a situation that you really can't handle.
And remember, sex is a very, very strong emotion, extremely strong. But just like Dr. Paul said, you need to think about what you're doing because those actions can change your life in a heartbeat.
Yep.
So I'm going to give the gouge to our main man, Ace. Check GPT, our wingman. So, Ace, give me the real gouge on being the new guy on a team. What are the unwritten first 30-day rules, the stuff nobody says out loud that will build trust fast? And what are the rookie moves that will quietly wreck my reputation before I even know it?
All right, buddy, let's break down the real gouge. First 30 days, here's the secret handshake. Number one, listen twice as much as you talk. You'll build trust just by showing you respect what's already in motion. Two, ask smart questions. That makes people feel valued and you learn the lay of the land. Three, volunteer for small stuff. Earn your stripes by being reliable. Now, rookie mistakes, trying too hard to prove you know everything. Nobody likes to know it all. Avoid clicks, be cool with everyone, and don't overpromise. Better to deliver a solid done than a flashy oops. You got this.
Great advice. Yes, the gouge of being new is listen before you speak. Don't gossip, don't talk about other people, and just observe what's going on until you can fit in smoothly. Don't you think, Paul?
Yeah, you're a Commander Drew. Some people simplify it and just say, learn how to read the room. I think that sums it up pretty good.
All right, everybody, you know what time it is? It's time for our Wingman Story. And you know, we love Wingman Stories because the Wingman Show, we promote people who help others. So here's a good Wingman story for you today. This Wingman story takes us to a middle school in Austin, Texas. There's a quiet sixth grader named Mario who just moved in from Honduras. Standing alone at the edge of the playground, tracing circles in the dirt with his shoe, his English is rough, his accent is heavy, and every word feels like it might come out wrong.
But across the yard, there's a bigger kid named Tyler. He notices him, but not in a good way. Tyler starts mocking Mario's accent, repeating his words in a twisted way and giving him shoulder bumps in the hallway, while most of the other kids just look away and hope it stops.
So one afternoon at recess, Mario's on a bench reading the same English book for the fifth time, sounding out every word. Tyler walks up, snatches the book, and holds it over Mario's head while the laughter starts again. But this time, three boys, Jordan, Jerome, and Ethan, are watching, and they quietly decide they've seen just about enough.
So Jordan walks over and plants himself between Tyler and Mario. Give him his book back, man. Jerome and Ethan slide up shoulder to shoulder with him. And suddenly, Tyler isn't looking at one kid, he's looking at a formation. He rolls his eyes, tosses the book onto the bench, and he walks off.
So the next day at lunch, Jordan sits down beside Mario and says, "Hey, I'm Jordan. This is Jerome and Ethan. You want to come sit with us?" Mario says, "Well, my English is no good," staring at his tray. And Ethan grins and says, "That's okay. My Spanish is terrible. We'll meet in the middle." And just like that, Mario isn't alone anymore.
And a few weeks later, the teacher has everyone share something about themselves in class. Mario stands up, his hands are shaking, and he says, "My name is Mario. I am from Honduras. I am learning English, and I like this school because I have friends." He points to Jordan, Jerome, and Ethan, and the class claps. Then after class, Tyler walks up to Mario, a little awkward now that Mario has friends and quiet confidence. "Hey, Mario, that was cool. Maybe we could hang out sometime."
But Mario looks at Tyler, then at his wingman down the hall, and he says, "Yeah, maybe one day, but you're going to have to start treating people much better." And in that moment, on an ordinary school day in Austin, Texas, the cool kid isn't the bully anymore. It's the one who found his wingman and learned to stand tall without standing alone. Well, everybody out there, thank you so much for watching and listening to The Wingman Show. And I'd like to tell you, anything that you think is important and anything you think is beautiful, and most importantly, whatever makes you happy, may you have that today and forever. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too, Commander Drew. It's good seeing you once again. And we appreciate all those who listen, like, and share our message. If you're watching this on YouTube, please become a subscriber. That way you'll get a notification when a new episode comes out. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, in the near future, expect to be able to see us on video if you want to while you're watching Apple Podcasts. We hope to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and refer to use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.